everyone. So we are back here, and today this particular talk, I would call it Masterclass with Tay Ling. And I really enjoy talking with him because it's so riveting and so much things to learn because they are real life and they're not from textbooks. And you know, textbooks are not really applicable in all circumstances. And someone had to burn themselves through the fire for us to learn. So, thanks, Tay Ling, for this another few minutes of your time, which is so valuable to you and to us because you've got a business to run. Today's topic, Masterclass, from crisis to comeback. What are your 5 essential tips for business and business management in this pandemic? I'm sure there's a lot of tips, but let's just nail down to 5 advice that you have.
Right. Okay. So my very first advice is don't let a crisis go to waste. Right. I think in a crisis, if you look at it, crisis as a Chinese word, right? 危机，有危险才有机会. So in English, what it means is that when there's danger, then that's where opportunities will always accompany. And I think that's like the circle of life, right? So when a crisis actually happens, I think it's important for you to not panic and then look at the crisis and start evaluating what can I do to actually restructure my business of sorts.
Restructure.
And I think when that happens, one of the good things that everyone can consider is good cost and bad cost. Right? What is considered a good cost and what is considered a bad cost? So bad costs are things that actually just happens that you have to spend. Good costs are costs that you spend to be able to allow you to actually get more revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So in restructure, a lot of companies during pandemic situation, they just cut costs and they don't want to spend because to them,
example of good costs and bad costs in concrete terms.
Right. So a bad cost, so if I put in my current context, right, a bad cost could be having 3 admin people, administrative people doing administrative work that can be overtaken by technology. That to me is considered bad cost, right? By having 3 admin people working on it. What is considered cost is that I can actually buy a particular software or buy a particular training material,
investment,
and I start train to skill up so that they can then get better business. That to me is good cost and bad cost. And actually the cost could be exactly the same value. So you cut down on this bad cost and then you spend on the good cost. That good cost will automatically get you back additional revenue. So that's my tip number 1.
Cost.
Yeah. My tip number 2, right? Don't play catch up.
Don't play catch up.
Yes. So a lot of people during pandemic situation will start looking at what is everyone doing, and then if company A is doing this, oh shit, I don't lose out, I better try, right? That's what a lot of people do. I think what's important is actually to start thinking about the future. So a lot of things I've been doing right now is I stopped thinking about what should I do during this pandemic situation. I start thinking about what should I do after the pandemic, right? Because the pandemic situation has already happened. I started thinking about how to solve the pandemic in February. Then after February, I stopped thinking about it because the plans are set, is already in action. I started thinking, how can I start moving and pivoting towards after pandemic? And I spent the next 3 to 4 months working on it, of sorts. So I think that's important where don't play catch up, right? Always try to be ahead. Utilize design thinking to be able to plan and come up with solutions. Now, tip number 3. I believe in the law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
Right? So, a lot of times, I'm a very strong person that believes in luck will happen to those that work very hard for it. Right? Just to give an example, recently I had a conversation with a friend. My friend in this very bad situation, global pandemic situation, actually lost his job. Right? A very sad case. So when he spoke to me, he was actually feeling very down. So when I asked him, I said, okay, I think there's a couple of things that you can first consider. Number 1, you lost your job, but hey, you got a newborn, and now you're able to spend a lot of time with the newborn, right? look at that and be happy about it, right? Then beyond that, maybe you can start talking to people about picking up new skills, learning and applying for jobs, and so on and so forth. If you're going to constantly think about, oh, why is the world so mean to me? Or how can the company ask me to leave?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that I put in 5 years of my life and then they ask me to go to the conference room and tell me and give me the golden letter and tell me get lost. Things like that. Well, I'm not going to be stuck in negative energy. I think it's important for us to be in a positive energy because when you're positive, the law of attraction will means that good luck will come to you. Right. So a lot of times you have to do that, and that can actually start happening from a very, very simple point of view. And I'm going to give a very simple actionable item right now. In Singapore, right, and I'm guilty of it. A lot of us like to say, oh, how is the chicken rice? Oh, it's not bad. Right? Very common for us to hear that. Why are you using not, which is a negative word, and bad, which is a negative word? The two negatives, this is not maths, it's English. Right? The two negatives.
Very good.
Yes, exactly. The two negatives will not get you to a positive. Right? It's because it's not maths. Why don't you say it is quite good or it is very good? And these are simple, actionable items that gets you to be in a very positive mindset from your very little actions every single day. A lot of us spend too much time complaining. A lot of us spend too much time talking in negative energy words. So these are things that we can actually start changing ourselves today. Right? The fourth tip that I want to say is invest in people.
Invest in people.
Right? I'm a very strong believer of investing in people. Like I shared previously, I watched Itaewon Class. It's a Korean drama. Right? Itaewon Class, the key hero there, actually, he's an ex-convict, and he actually invested in his team of founding members. Right? There were about 4 of them. Each of them comes with their own set of problems. Yeah. But what he did constantly is that he believed entirely, totally in them. Right? A chef that can't cook, he instead of asking the chef, this is your paycheck, get lost, find a job at somewhere else. What he did was he gave double the paycheck. He says, with this double paycheck, can I ask for you to put in double effort to try to make things better? Because I believe in you. That I think is an investment in people. That is a never say, I'm sorry, you're lousy, I screwed up in my judgment, get lost. No, it's not about that. But it's really a case of how can I get them to be able to perform to their potential and what that potential could be. And I think I've been very blessed because in 2015, when I went through a crisis of my own in office, right, in my entrepreneurship journey, what I did then was that I actually put my whole entire team together. And I told them in a very transparent manner, this is the current financial situation. In 2013, we made some mistakes. 2014, we made some mistakes. 2015, we made some mistakes. And now, financially, we are actually in deep trouble. At this current moment, there's a couple of action plans that we can take. I would like to discuss with the team. How can we actually take the current situation, turn it around, and move on? My partner then that I was talking to wasn't exactly comfortable, but I told him, I said, can you trust me and let's try that? And then we tried it. And that I think is a way of investing in people. And I think we are very lucky, right? In 2015, end of the year, we actually made back 50% of everything that we lost in 2013, 2014, and 2015. So imagine if the 3 years we lost X dollar, right? At the end of 2015, we've already gotten back at 50% of X dollars. 2016, we got back every single cent because we actually invested in people. We actually trusted the people, and we got the people, empowering the people. I think is really believing and walking the talk. Letting them do what they believe in, fighting for what they believe in, and then rewarding them accordingly in the same manner as well. Last but not least, like what I shared earlier, I'm actually quite a fan of Korean dramas, right? So again, I'm going to state the title of a Korean drama that happened recently. The title is called It's Okay Not to Be Okay, right? The Korean drama actually talks about people with a lot of psychological problems and such. And I think this is a case where I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal story as well. So a lot of times, a lot of founders or a lot of entrepreneurs or even normal people always feel that in this society, it is very difficult for us to be able to voice out about how we are not okay. And it seems like I'm the alien here, right? Where everybody is smiling, life is fine and such. Why am I the unlucky one that's doing all of this? And I think it's really about coming to terms with that. And again, if I go back to the situation where I shared in 2015, where we had some financial crisis of our own because of some bad judgment. There were times that I actually I remember standing at the junction of a traffic light, and then as I hear the zebra crossing sound, right, and I ask myself, actually, if you take one step forward, a car comes, that's the end, right? You don't have to go through this torture anymore. It's so difficult and so painful. At that point of time, I actually sold my car. I was contemplating selling my house because all of it is to try to make sure that the company survives. And even if I do that, I wasn't even confident that the company. And then I stopped. And then I told myself, actually, it's normal to feel this way. It's actually okay not to be okay, right? And you're not a Superman, right? It's actually okay for you to be able to embrace that you have made a mistake. It's okay for you to embrace that things will get better. I think the first step of getting better and the first step of making a comeback is that first you need to acknowledge that I have screwed up, right? So after acknowledging, being aware about it, then that whole entire journey of recovery starts. And then you have to be able to have the tenacity too. So yeah, in a very short amount of time, that's my 5 tips.
Thank you so much. This is very real. There's a lot of people going through very difficult times right now in a very unspoken, unseen way. But I think your words of encouragement from someone who's been there, done that, and rising through the ashes and being a phoenix again, I think that's a good encouragement for all of us. Thank you so much, Tay Ling, once again.